Welcome to
to
another
another episode
episode
of
of
Ooh, ManDem Talk Movies.
M-
I'm your
you
boy
know,
Kwame.
you know. I'm your boy Enigma, and you know what we're doing, man. We're reviewing movies with that ManDem twist, man. And
Yeah,
to be
man.
honest with you, we got a doozy. We got a doozy one. We got a good one here.
Yeah,
It dropped not too long ago.
yeah, not that long ago.
To
So,
yeah. To fanfare if you're a fan of his work, and
I'm,
to shrug of the shoulders if you're not a fan of his work.
I'm a fan of his work, just not this one.
You're a fan of it? Alright, so I'm a fan as well, but boy, this one, yeah, we'll have to see how we go with this one. But as you can, I'm sure you've seen by the title, we're going to be reviewing the movie from Zack Snyder, Rebel Moon.
What do you think they want?
Let's get
Oh
into
man.
it. That's what I'm gonna say. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, bro. Let's get
Okay,
into it. All right, so quick synopsis in case people don't know. Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder's latest for Netflix. The rumor was he pitched this to George Lucas and Star Wars and them as a dark Star Wars back in the day. They kind of said no, so then he turned this into his own story. So if people don't know, but a peaceful settlement on the edge of a distant moon finds itself threatened by the armies of a ruling force. A mysterious stranger living amongst its villagers becomes their best hope for survival. Starring Sophia Botella, Jaimin Hunsu, Ed Screen, and Ray Fisher up in there, and Charlie Hunnam. Um, I can tell by how you're reacting, bruv. How you felt about it.
bro.
How did you feel? What's your overall feeling about Rebel Moon?
For the fact that you said that he approached, and I like Zack Snyder, bro. I like Zack Snyder. I do. When I say I'm arguably the biggest fan of Watchmen. Watchmen. It's like my favorite shit. Like
Mhm.
not even that long ago,
Yeah,
maybe a few
yeah,
months ago, I watched Watchmen twice in 1 week. Like I'm a ridiculous fan of that shit. I really, really
yeah,
like it. I don't care. I know a lot of people did say, "Oh, it's
yeah,
not as good as the graphic novel and whatnot." I don't give a shit. I love the visuals. I
yeah,
love this. I'm a fan of um like detective stories, and I love the way Rorschach is telling a story. You know, tonight
yeah, yeah, yeah,
comedian was murdered. I love that shit. That shit was crazy to me. The opening title screen is a movie in itself. Anyway, so I'm a fan of
yeah,
Snyder.
yeah.
But Rebel Moon, the fact that you said he approached Lucas about this being, like I say, a Star Wars story or Star Wars movie, I get it. I can see it because this movie should have been made about 20
Mm.
years ago. 20 years ago, it made it. It's about 20 years too late. We've seen this movie too many
Yeah,
times. If this had come out like
yeah.
thousands or even late 90s, would have banged. Now,
Late night.
hey,
Yeah, yeah.
it's bringing out a superhero movie now. We've seen it all. It's boring. You brought it out too late. You should have brought it out
Mm,
time ago. Because Sophia Butella, I like her. She's kind of gorgeous still. Ed Skrein is a good
yeah.
actor. The performances are good.
I'm
Oh,
a push back on the screen, but go, keep going,
no,
keep
no,
going.
jump
Yeah,
in, jump
yeah.
in. What are you saying? What are you saying?
Look, for me personally, Ed Screen
Like it.
is from the Sam Worthington, Colin Farrell tried to push him and it didn't work. Like at least Colin Farrell's a decent actor. Sam Worthington's proved his worth. Ed Screen, bruv. Do you
What?
remember? Like people don't
Deadpool?
forget he was exactly. He was the main villain in Deadpool, and no one cared about him. No one's ever spoken about Deadpool. Yeah, it was a dope villain. Nah, never him. He never smack it. Then he's the villain in Elite Battle Angel. Was he same smarmy raggo? I'm a killer, bruv. You're one note, and then in this, bruv, he just looked like a public boy that, bruv, you got to think, like, man
He
had
does. He
no
does. Yeah.
menacing, nothing, no menace. Anytime he dealt with someone, they was handcuffed or they was being held hostage.
He was a
Like,
bit
he
of a
was
mischief.
not that guy.
It's always wise to hold some in reserve, isn't it, Father? Yep. Yep.
He
Yeah.
is, Ed Screen is not that guy. Trust me, I don't know, bruv. He's one of them man for me. Been given bare chances and he hasn't smacked it once. I'm sorry.
So even when he took
Jarring.
over, Transporter, you didn't like him. Maybe he took over Transporter.
Oh.
No,
And look, so that's another one. I forgot about that. So they've given you bare chances and you never smacked it. That's all I'm
but
saying.
see, the
Ed,
first
nah,
time,
he's not that guy.
the first time I ever saw him, I thought he was actually decent. Was actually Ill Manners, and I liked him in Ill Manners. Like I didn't know Mans was
Okay.
like from ends, or he could act like he was from ends. Like he
Mm.
seemed like he was
Mm.
one of the ManDem in that. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
him and Riz Ahmed, they both come from that, innit? They were, it's them two
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
And I'm impressed with both of
Yeah.
them. That's a grounded movie, and Plan B is Plan B's film, innit? And basically like
Mm.
UK, like kind of set in South London.
Yeah,
So it was relatable.
yeah.
So Ed Skrein was relatable. So I was like, okay, I see
Nah.
this trick. He got Deadpool. He got, or should I say, he got Transport. Then he got Deadpool and some of the other shit that he's got. I thought he was all right. So I'm seeing that you really don't like
Nah,
him, you know?
bro. Nah, bruv. He's every time it's mustache twirling, especially in this. The Empire, you will be kneel before the Empire. Shut up,
That
fam.
is
Like, they're not scary, bro.
no,
You're
but
not
you know what?
scary with that haircut as well.
That's hilarious. Is that his fault though? Because to me, I think it's the fault of the writing and the fault of the story. The story
Oh yeah. The writing's terrible. The script is terrible.
so slow for such a predictable story. It's too slow. It's almost like hurry up
Yeah,
and get to it. We know what's gonna happen.
yeah,
Like real talk.
yeah.
When I say, the yeah, I'm spoiling. I don't give a shit. I have to say this. When the ambush happens, I'm not gonna lie. It was bloody obvious.
Let's move. Yes. On your mark.
This isn't right.
It was a matter of when
Mm,
and who, but you knew it was coming. Everything was running too smooth. And again, if you pay attention
mm.
to even the runtime of the movie, you're almost thinking like, yeah, so when is it going to happen? Because something has to happen because nothing's happened yet. Nothing was happening.
Yeah,
It was always
yeah.
too obvious that something had to happen that was going to be detrimental to their journey. So when it did happen, it
Mm.
was like, okay, yeah, is that it? Like, come on. And which one of you is going to be
I
the one
mean,
that's die? Like, bruv, it was too predictable. It was boring. It was like,
yeah, I think again, spoiling it for anyone that ain't seen it. I think the Charlie Hunnam twist. If you had asked me who's gonna switch on the ManDem, I would have
yeah,
said him because he
yep,
was the rogue, kind of only in it for the money type of thing.
bruv. Let's be clear.
His accent jarred the shit out of me, bro. I'm not
Let's
gonna
be
lie.
clear who he
Like
was,
this
bruv.
nigga went around the whole of the United Kingdom, bro, with his accent.
They tortured every man, woman, and child. Left them clinging to life as they turned them to ash from low orbit.
Scottish, it's Irish, it's Welsh, I don't know what he's talking about.
Bruv, but let's be clear who he was. He was obviously the Han Solo in it. It was almost like a darker
He's
Han
Han
Solo.
Solo and a bit of Lando as well, like a bit
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Lando as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Hans Lando. That's what they might as well have called him.
yeah.
Literally.
Basically,
Or,
basically, basically.
or Hans Calrissian or whatever, I don't know. But either way, it was just too obvious, bruv. Like,
Mm.
you come straight out of a comic book. That's literally what I thought when I saw this. That was the Jim Kelly line. I was thinking like, man, you come
Yeah.
straight out of a comic book.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
I was like, are you kidding me? Why is this film
Mm.
2.5 hours long? It should be 99 minutes because we know what's going to happen. Just get to it. My God, I'm just getting sick.
They spent way too long. Yeah, they spent way too long at the beginning. It took too long to get going. Even when they took over a town, my man Modoc, Corey Stroll, or whatever his
Hilarious.
name is, my man.
Corey
Uh,
Stoll.
him, Stroll, you knew he was gonna get murked, etc. That was dumb, and I just think as well, like this whole recruiting a ragtag of bandits. Like you said, we've seen
Magnificent
this a million
Seven,
times. Yeah, Magnificent Seven, Seven Samurai, all of that type of thing.
remakes.
And the it was it was Zack Snyder in a bottle, bruv. Like the amount of like slow motion. It was like
Too
you
much.
almost knew when the slow motion was gonna come. You almost knew when the cues were. Yeah.
Yeah, bruv. It was. I'm sorry. If I have to, what do we usually rate it out of? Was it 5 or 10?
We're going 10. We was usually going 10.
10. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, man. I give this like it's. I'm gonna push it to give it a 4 out of 10. And the reason why I even give it that much, really, I
Four.
want to give it 3. No, I'm gonna give it 3.5 out of
Wow.
10. I'm gonna give it 3.5, and that 3.5
Okay.
goes to the individual performances. I didn't even like that first fight scene when she come and arms up everybody. To me, she actually looked weak. I was thinking if she's supposed to be so spectacular, even the way she took out them soldiers wasn't even that spectacular. It was kind of dead. Yeah, I said I want to give it a 3.5 out of 10,
Oh.
just because the performances in terms of like the actors, they did their best with the material that they were given. I didn't. There's so many things I didn't care about because I know this was a part 1, hence the reason why we saw the storyline with the girl, but they didn't explain nothing. Storyline with the
Yeah.
road didn't explain nothing. Saw the storyline with the big,
Yeah.
didn't explain nothing. So I'm guessing everything is going to come in part 2 and part 3. But I don't know if he's even going to get a part 2 and part 3 because this one ain't going to smack it. But then
Well,
again, it's
this is I think
Netflix, so it probably will.
it he made the biggest mistake Snyder made was just before the movie coming out saying I've got an R-rated director's cut of this movie and it's completely different and it's almost better. It's why did he say this? It's like imagine taking a thing to a restaurant, taking her to Morley's and saying, well, I was gonna actually take you to the nicest restaurant in town, but go Morley's first and then we'll do this. Like why are you telling me you're gonna downplay my want to see the first movie
Yeah,
just by telling me that there's an R-rated copy in the first place? It's because they were trying to recreate
headlines.
the whole release the Snyder cut type of thing, but we gotta like the movie first. There's a
Thank
reason
you.
why people wanted the Snyder cut. It's because
Exactly.
they liked the initial DC movies. They saw that you didn't get to finish your Justice League, so they said, "Okay, let's try and we want to see the Snyder cut." Bruv, who said we wanted to see Rebel Moon in the first place? And
This
now
is
you're
what,
telling us about director's cut.
mate.
Just make the director's cut what you're bringing out. You get me? It's like, oh, we wanted to make it PG-13. It's bloody Netflix.
It's
Anyone that's got the anyone that's logged on can watch it. It's not like it's not the cinema. You get me? There's no restrictions. So the biggest mistake I think he made because it turned off a lot of people. I think a lot of people like, why am I bothering to watch this if the director's cut is only going to
yeah,
come out in a few months
yeah.
later?
Doesn't make
And you're
sense.
saying that it's a totally different movie. Like, what's the point?
That's bad marketing. Do you know the problem with
Yeah,
Snyder? Do you know the problem with Snyder? I think this is a problem that he keeps making, and it's not even his fault. It's the fault of the people above him. Is they keep giving him all the reins. They need to make him take a
yeah,
step back. Be writer director, but don't let him produce.
yeah,
Let someone else
yeah,
produce for him.
exactly.
Because
Yeah,
yes, you can
yeah, yeah,
write,
yeah,
kind of. Yes, you can direct. Personally, I actually think he's better
yeah,
if he had somebody else write and he just directs. He's a good director. I'll give him that. He's a sick director, even.
yeah, yeah,
But in terms
yeah.
of writing, I think you should have a co-writer, but he should definitely let somebody else produce. Because when he has too much power, like I feel this is one thing I learned when I paid attention to like the structure of how movies are made. There's a reason why a lot
Hmm.
of people at the top of the game, like executive level, always say they don't like studios say this a lot, they don't actually like writer directors. So you can imagine how they feel about
Yeah.
writers and producers. They must hate them
Mm,
because not that you've even
mm,
power, but it's too much tunnel vision. So it's just
yeah,
your perspective.
yeah,
Whereas when you have someone else who writes it and then you hand it over to a director who now interprets that person's writing, you got a shared
mm,
an interest in how that project's going to come out. Because sometimes I'm not going to lie, like
yeah,
2001 when it comes to filmmaking, because the film is never made by just one person. And obviously, when you got a producer,
Cool.
then you got a producer on board who's also going to produce it in a certain type of way, because then they're also going to give you ideas and tell you maybe we should cast so and so in that role, and it's not just you. But when you're writer, producer, and it's all you, I get it. You can be an auteur, but I don't know if I would classify Zack Snyder as an auteur. I think he wants to be an auteur, but you can't be an auteur,
Yeah,
but at the same time you're making studio movies. Go back and make independent
yeah,
films. These are independent films. These are big budget
yeah,
movies. So you can't be an auteur
yeah, yeah,
$150 million budgets movie. It doesn't work like that. You need 5 million, unless it's coming out of your own pocket. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's with Snyder, and that's why Snyder keeps flopping. Because don't get twisted, I would say Snyder, Nolan, as another example, would like to be an auteur, but can't because his budgets are too high. So even though he
He's
isn't,
a blockbuster.
so yeah, he's making blockbusters. Because I mean, he is high end, but I'm guessing like Snyder wants to be like almost like a version of Nolan, because I guess Nolan does get to write and direct. But even Nolan has a co-write. His brother co-writes with him most of the time, or he gets what's my guy who wrote Blade and co-wrote Batman?
Goyer, David
Yeah,
is Goyer and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah,
even though Nolan does write, he's still got these co-writers, because sometimes you do need that other voice, and I think sometimes it doesn't seem like Snyder has that other voice, and also he has his wife that produces. And yes, I know Snyder has his wife that produces, but I think they need a couple more ideas in the pot sometimes.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
it's a director, but I don't know if the execution when it comes down to promotion and marketing and talking about it, take the mic away from you know what I mean? Take the mic away from it. Don't let him talk so much. But yeah, 3.5.
And
What
I
you get?
think 3.5. Boy, I'm gonna go 5 out of 10 because I think there was some good visuals. Um, Obviously, as we said, we like Snyder's style. I like the palette. I did enjoy some of like the fight scenes, but you could tell they were supposed to be more violent. But I did like some of the fight scenes, and I kind of did dig the world, but again, the script was pretty mundane. There was some bad one-liners in there, badly used Ray Fisher as Dorian Bloodaxe, one of the worst names ever. And then his big gigantic leap, oh, I'm gonna kill you, nigga, just move out of the way and shoot you, bro. That shit was like, why did he even bother? Like, it was one of the worst deaths you can think of. But other than that, yeah, I'd say about a 5. It's definitely not Snyder's best work. Um, I
No.
definitely think he should have just come up with a director's cut, make it more violent, etc. And I think it would have gone down well. And I didn't like the Anthony Hopkins robot. I thought he was jarring. I don't know, man. Hopkins as well. No dissing, obviously, is a legend, but
Is that
I didn't.
C-3PO or something? What was it? Was that? See what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like,
it's supposed to be C-3PO. Yeah, it didn't really work for me. His voice didn't really work. The robot was kind of jarring as well. So again, why are you wearing the daisies? Why do you have the big antlers at the end? Like why was the final shot of that robot with antlers? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. Just
pissed me
again,
off because the ending felt like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to do what they did at the end of Force Awakens when it was like, oh, they're setting up Last Jedi, so it makes you
yeah,
really want the movie. I was like, this ain't making me want to watch part 2. This is a terrible ending.
man. Okay. Yeah,
What
yeah,
is this,
yeah,
bro?
yeah.
And
Bad
then the
ending, and
all of them standing there, I was like, no, this is Magnificent Seven, and it doesn't look good.
yeah.
And you
And
let my
bringing back bloody Ed Screen, like, brother, I thought he was dead. Like, actually bringing him back, like he's actually a Batman villain. When
yeah,
Darth Vader comes back, when Thanos comes back, we care because we cared about the damn villain. If we think that villains are pussy in the first place, why do we care? And how the
that's
blood clot could he have survived that drop? That drop
yes,
was a ludicrous drop. It actually would have destroyed his body. It was just like,
ludicrous.
come on, bruh. Like,
Yeah.
seriously ludicrous. So for me, again, I don't like Ed Screen, man. Just as simple as that, as simple as that. But again, 5 out of 10. You going, what
No,
did you go? 3.5. Three and
no.
a half. 3.5.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
give it 4. I'll go 4.
What?
I'm not going to give it 4 though. 4 is
Okay.
what I
Okay. Okay.
4.
Okay. Okay.
So
All
yeah,
right.
that's
Well, people, that's our review of Rebel Moon. That's our review.
Watch it at your
If you
own peril.
disagree, if you agree,
And I'm joking.
watch at your own peril. Yeah. No, drop a like, drop a comment, and yeah,
Yeah.
man, Rebel Moon. Yeah, check it out at your own cost. All right.
Mm.
Peace.
Yes.